The Echo Room. In the small town of Hawthorne, nestled between thick woods and fog-shrouded hills, there stood an old, abandoned house known as the Holloway Estate. This crumbling relic whispered centuries of secrets, but one particular tale wrapped itself around the locals' tongues like creeping ivy, a chilling story every child knew but few dared to truly discuss. They said the house housed the spirit of Margret Holloway, a woman once brimming with life, who gradually succumbed to a mind twisting and turning in on itself. Her laughter had echoed through its hallways, but after the tragedy of losing her family in a car crash, Margaret slipped into the shadows of her own mind, becoming a ghost of her former self. She spoke to people who were never there and shrieked at shadows that danced on the walls. After her death, the estate was abandoned, and it faded into a mere haunting tale. As Halloween approached, the truth behind the Holloway Estate intrigued a group of teenagers, including Max, a skeptical but curious boy, and Lily, whose fascination with the supernatural bordered on obsession. They had heard the stories, of course, yet they brazenly decided to explore the house, armed with nothing but flashlights, bravado, and the thrill of impending danger. The night they chose was foggy, with the moon only a sliver in the dark sky, casting eerie beams that seemed to guide them toward the decaying entrance. The house creaked as they stepped inside, the wooden floors groaning beneath their weight. Dust motes danced in the air, illuminated by their flashlights, ghostly figures caught between worlds. As they roamed from room to room, Max remained aloof, dismissing the whispers of the past. "This place is just a scam to frighten kids," he scoffed, though uncertainty dripped from his voice. Lily, however, felt an energy pulsating through the house, an invitation wrapped in unease. Every creak and groan felt alive, breathing secrets into the looming silence. Suddenly, they stumbled upon a room at the end of a dark corridor. The door hung ajar, as if beckoning them inside. Hesitation danced in the air, but Lily pushed the door wide open. What lay within was unlike anything they had imagined. Walls plastered with frayed, yellowed newspaper clippings about Margret Holloway, stories of her mental decline and the mysterious happenings in the estate. But what chill ran down their spines was a strange echo that reverberated through the room, an almost musical tone that twisted their minds. "Did you hear that?" Lily asked, her voice barely breaking the thick tension. Max heard it too. The faint, high-pitched hum, almost like a child's laughter mixed with the desperate cries of despair. This was not just echoing memories, it felt alive. Suddenly, a flicker of movement caught their attention. A figure floated at the periphery, too indistinct to be recognized but too present to be ignored. Fear prickled at their skin. "Let's go," Max urged, his bravado now a pastel of fear. But Lily was drawn to the figure, her curiosity overpowering her sense of danger. "Wait, it's just a shadow. Maybe it's Margaret." As if in answer, the air grew heavy, thick with a palpable tension. The house seemed to breathe in their fear and exhale uncertainty. Max grabbed Lily's arm. "We shouldn't be here," he said firmly, trying to pry her away from the echoing void. But it was too late. That soft, luring hum grew stronger, wrapping around Lily like a cocoon, pulling her deeper into the room. Max stood frozen, torn between helping her and fleeing, the shadows of the room twisting and writhing like serpents, each whisper in the air wrapping around his mind. Lily turned to face him, her eyes wide, glistening with a strange light. "Max, you don't understand. She needs us. She's lonely." Her voice trailed off, and for a brief moment, all Max could see was the flicker of another world behind her eyes, like a door slightly ajar to a vast, dark landscape filled with echoes of madness. Max shook his head, fighting against the tugging pull of his own headspace, memories inexplicably flooding in. Whispers of his grandmother battling with dementia, the day he lost her to the cruel night of forgetting her loved ones. The lines between reality and illusion blurred. He felt a terrifying urge to scream but held it back. In one frantic motion, he stepped forward, grabbing Lily's shoulders. "We have to leave. This isn't right," he yelled, his voice slicing through the haze enveloping them. The laughter faded, replaced by an echoing wail that rattled the house. With a sudden jolt, Lily blinked, comprehension dawning in those once inviting eyes. "Max, help me," she gasped, her voice shaky, and in that instant, the door slammed shut with a deafening clang. Max's heart raced as the oppressive atmosphere threatened to close in. He braced himself against the door, terrified of what lay behind it. He could barely hear, but the whispers and wails had become a cacophony, plunging deeper into madness as the shadows surrounding him coiled tighter. "Lily!" he shouted, desperation throttling him. Their eyes met through the thin wood, and for a moment, he could see the fight within her. With primal strength, he shoved against the door, and it gave way, flinging open to reveal a blinding light pouring in. Lily staggered backward, free from the shadow's grip. She blinked, disoriented but unharmed. Max pulled her close, and together they fled from the suffocating air of the echo room, running until the oppressive weight left their shoulders. Once back outside, they leaned against the house, gasping for breath. An eerie silence enveloped them, hinting at the betrayal of their own minds and the thin veil separating reality from that haunting darkness. As they made their way home, the specter of that ghostly laughter lingered, a reminder of how the mind could unravel, how easily it could become a prison. In the silence that followed their adventure, both Max and Lily knew the layers of madness were only a breath away, tucked away in the shadows of a dimly lit house named Holloway.